Hello, this is Dr. Flight, and this is a brief discussion or presentation on customer relationship management and marketing. And so the focus of this will just be a review of CRM and what it means to the firm, and specifically what it means to have a relationship that is long going, that's engaged with customers, and the whole process that's involved. We will also review and introduce the concept of customer lifetime value, which is the measure of profitability that a customer has for a firm once the customer is acquired. So we'll talk about CLV and we'll talk about CRM. Okay, we'll begin by talking a little bit about customer relationship management and what it means to the firm. So CRM is a business process. That's something to understand, that as we look at managing cash flows, we want to think of our customers in terms of how they contribute to revenue and being able to develop that revenue source over a period of time. CRM, customer relationship management or marketing, is really a function or an outcome of having a customer orientation. So being able to make decisions as a result of using customer data and customer information, and having the customer be the source of, or the impetus of, your decision-making process is helpful if you have a customer orientation, and this is really one of those outcomes. For CRM to be successful, it has to be a top-down type of an environmental priority. So it has to have the support of senior management, has to also cut across several different areas within the firm. It has to be a focal philosophy that the multiple functions within the company has. And again, that is sort of an outcome of it being supportive through senior management and from a top-down type of an environment. We want to think about the value our customers offer us, and that's one of the key components, is being able to identify the customers that are most profitable for us. So those are the ones that we want to develop relationships with, and also in other customers who maybe aren't so profitable for us, we want to be able to cultivate a relationship so that they become profitable. So that's one of the keys here as well. And we collect data. Data is going to be a heavy focus of a CRM program. Being able to collect data on the sentiment, the satisfaction, the loyalty levels, purchase history, and so forth. And we often use what we call customer touch points to be able to collect the data and also be able to again, communicate back and forth with customers, be able to give information, be able to develop a relationship over a long period of time. So when we think about touch points, though, there are two different kinds that we would look at. We think about interactive touch points, and those are defined as touch points where the customer comes in contact with our brand or our product. Could be over the internet, it could be an advertisement they see. What a touch point would be, it could be something along those lines, it could be a phone call. An interactive touch point is one where there's communication that goes both ways. That is both, like, we receive information, we are able to give information, and there's some back and forth type of communication going on. A non-interactive touch point is one that is like just a visible sign of our company. It's static. The consumer, the customer maybe receives information from us, but there's no back and forth dialogue that takes place. So the touch point concept is important because we want to be able to create meaningful touch points. And we especially want interactive touch points because that's where true relationships kind of emerge. So we want to be able to create this customer orientation or customer-centric culture as we move forward. When we're able to do this, when we're able to take the customer and place them at the center of our decision-making process, then we begin to see a lot of benefits that are outcomes from the CRM process and from having the consumer or customer orientation. So once the customer is a partner with us as the development of the relationship emerges, their goals and our goals will align with each other. So they have goals to meet a specific need or want, and our goal is to be able to satisfy that need or want. And once our goals align from a customer firm perspective, then the relationship develops further and really grows, and so does our profitability and their loyalty and satisfaction. So that's an important concept to think about, that there are some outcomes here that are truly beneficial, that are kind of goal-oriented outcomes that can be managed and developed and grown through the relationships that we have. So we want to think of our customers as kind of our consultation experts, those who can help us create a better value proposition, and they can help create the solution to their problems and co-create value just as we are creating value. Customers are going to be part of our value chain. We think of the value chain as maybe ending with service if you look at Porter's model. But if we actually think the customer is a part of the value chain, then they will be invested, and the product that we're able to offer them will be better and superior to anything that we're able to create otherwise, which again leads to satisfaction and loyalty. And we'll see here in a second how both satisfaction and loyalty as metrics that we can use actually have been shown to have a strong relationship with profit within the firm. So firms then with the customer orientation, with this idea of customer relationship marketing as something that's there, will understand that this is a firm level environment. This is a firm level commitment that we have to understanding the customer and giving them the value that they need. Customer orientation and CRM programs help guide our decision-making processes by putting customers right in the middle of our value creation process. It's again cross-functional, so that we go firm-wide with a CRM program in order for it to work positively for us. This again underscores this notion that everyone in the firm is a customer representative. Everybody regardless of your functional area, should be focused on providing value to the customer, and that will help move this system and this process along. So from an internal perspective, it can translate into some external or externality type of experience that the customer will see. Now, it is in the sense that this is a process and this is a managerial type of commitment that's being made. CRM can absolutely be a point of differentiation for one firm over another. It can set a firm apart in the minds of the consumer, and it can be used as it can be used to form a sustainable competitive advantage. So think of CRM as a resource, as a skill set. It's kind of like being able to do market research really well. That's a process, that's a resource, that's a skill set, and it can be leveraged to gain market advantages. CRM can be too. So the way we approach putting the customer into our processes is absolutely a way that we can set ourselves apart. Now, it is true that as we include customers in our business processes, we develop a relationship with them, and one of the ancillary results here is an increase in customer satisfaction and customer loyalty. So when we think about customer satisfaction, we think of how the customer benefits and how their needs or their expectations are exceeded as a result of our behavior. This in turn helps contribute towards loyalty. And when a customer is loyal, it means that they're not, specifically not going to our competitors, and they cut us some slack when we make mistakes, and so on and so forth. So there's clearly a significant relationship between satisfaction and loyalty, but then what we also find is there's a strong relationship between customer satisfaction and profit, and then finally customer loyalty with profit as well. So when we survey customers who are satisfied or very satisfied, we see that the average profit per customer for a given firm is significant. We have the average customer profit of $620 for this example firm here, based on the revenue that's generated and the fact that they're able to gain, their costs are lower, so their margins are higher. So they're making more money off of the very satisfied customers, and they in turn lead to a lot of firm profit. We look at our dissatisfied customers, and dissatisfied customers, as one can imagine, cost us money. They cost us money to be able to acquire and maintain and keep. So like, just because they're a customer, we have to keep them our customer, and there's a cost associated with that. If we want to make them our customer to begin with, we have to go out and spend some money to acquire them, and it doesn't pay off if we can't satisfy the customer. So very satisfied customers not only buy more, they buy at a higher margin, and that results in greater profit for us as a satisfaction measure. We can also look at this in similar terms to loyalty. We have loyal customers, customers who are willing to repeat purchase but maybe aren't as loyal. Customers who are captive are ones who have to buy from us, so they don't necessarily have an option to go somewhere else. And then we have new customers and unprofitable customers. But the clear thing here is to see that customers who stay with us and who buy over a long period of time contribute again to our profitability levels. So that's not a surprise. I mean, that's something that we would expect to see, but the data that is gathered through research absolutely underscores this notion. So satisfaction, loyalty, those are things that would be important for us to measure over time to be able to see how our CRM program is operating. So when we think about CRM and we think about the steps that we would take, or the cycle, if you will, of how customer relationship marketing works, we have 4 different steps or stages: knowledge discovery, marketing planning, customer interaction, and then analysis and refinement. When we think about knowledge discovery, what we want to do is set up our series of customer touch points where we can gather information. So we have information gathering processes which take our data and put it into a data storage system, which then allows us to do statistical work such as data mining, and it allows us to develop marketing programs that are based on data that reflect the different market segments that we're trying to reach. So during knowledge discovery, we're very focused on being able to process information, gather information from our business operations, and then make some sense out of that data to be able to measure our results as we move forward. When we think about the other phases, we have phase number 2, which deals with marketing planning. So as we do our marketing planning, we're planning the value proposition, and we're thinking about strategies and the market planning process of the 4 Ps that would be involved, or the marketing mix strategy, the 4P strategy, that would be best at serving the markets that we've identified. So we're come out of positioning, we've come out of segmenting and targeting, and we know who we want to address from a customer standpoint. Now we plan how we're going to price, how we're going to advertise, how we're going to deliver, and the actual value of the product that we're creating in order to best serve the market. That's the marketing planning phase. Number 3 the third element here, after we gather data, after we develop our plan, then we want to actually develop a relationship with the customers that we have, and we want to engage in these interactive touch points. So we are learning, it's like a learning model where as we are operating, we are also learning, and as we're learning, we're developing a better process, which is the fourth step, analysis and refinement. So as we get more information, the information provides new insights on how we can offer better products, offer better delivery, and we can grow our relationship, and we can grow satisfaction and loyalty. Okay, so we're gathering data, we're developing a plan, we're executing our plan through customer interactions, and then we're re-evaluating with the new data that is coming in to refine our process. And refine maybe how we're targeting our customers, refine our pricing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's kind of the four-stage or four-phase CRM process that we want to think about. And it's all focused on creating value, creating a lifetime customer, and developing the relationship that's appropriate for them. Okay, so now as we move forward, we want to tackle this last notion here, and this is something we're going to call customer lifetime value, or CLV. And basically this is going to be one of these measures or metrics that we use to measure like which customers are most profitable for us. And as we develop a relationship, we want to see this number go up. We want them to become more valuable to us. So when we think about a customer, we should think about them as an asset or as an investment vehicle. So basically the idea is I paid money to acquire a customer, and now what I want to know is how much that customer will be worth to me as we move forward and as we develop our relationship. So customer lifetime value, or CLV, can be calculated this way. What we want to do is we want to take how much money of profit I make from a customer in a given time period. And then what I want to do is I want to incorporate a discount rate. And then we want to incorporate the retention rate. So the retention rate is like what percentage of my customers come back from one period to the next. The discount rate you might think about as like a cost of capital or an inflation rate or something along those lines. It may be an internal rate of return that we've set, or something called a hurdle rate within the firm as well. So it's some type of a percentage. It might be like 5% or 10% or something along those lines. The retention rate might be like 80% or 90%, something like that. And then the margin, again, that's just like how much do I make? Like what's my revenue minus my cost for a particular customer over a period of time, and that would be my margin. And so when we plug it into this formula, then what we're going to get is some dollar amount that the customer is worth, and it'd be like the average customer over a period of time. So here's an example where we have a price, which would be a revenue, and then we have a cost, which would be our cost. And what we'll want to do is we'll want to look at the difference between those two to get our margin. We have been given a discount rate, which we're going to call 10%, and we're given a retention rate of 90%. So if I plug these things into this formula, then I'm going to get the customer lifetime value. So my 375 minus my 75, that's going to be my revenue minus my cost, and that'll give me my margin, right? So that'll be the revenue minus the cost, and that'll be the margin that I gain from the customer. Then I have 1 plus, and I have my discount rate, and then I have 1 plus the discount rate minus the retention rate. Okay, so this is going to be a division problem in here. Then we're going to do some multiplication. So we have $300 as that's going to be my revenue, my gross revenue or margin. That'll be my gross margin for the term. And then I've got this term here that's a result of this division and the retention and discount rate. And so we've got this 5.5 times 300, which gives us $1,650. And what the conclusion here is that an average customer that I acquire, I will make $1,650 on a typical customer that has given our retention rate and given the amount of margin that we're making off of them. Okay, so here's the thing. If I increase my retention rate, then this number goes up. If I increase my profit margin, this number goes up. All right, that's kind of the thing that we want to think about here, the things that I have control over. Here's another example where I raised my price, which means that my margin got higher and my retention rate stayed the same in this case. And we'll see that when I plug the different numbers in here, then my CLV went up. It went up like $300. Went up to $19.25 now, and that's the typical amount, that's the average amount that I would expect this investment, which the customer is, to be able to yield me. And that's so I just made that when I acquired every new customer, I made on average close to $2,000. Here's an example where maybe we'll take the same numbers, except for now, let's say our service went down or something happened where our retention rate declined from 90% down to 75%. So that's bad. We don't want to do that. That means that fewer customers are coming back time over time to do business with us. And so when we plug this new rate in, we see it has a negative effect on our overall CLV of almost $1,000. So that per customer, that's per customer. So that's huge. That's an enormous drop in our customer lifetime value. And that's really, really troubling. So what I need to do then as a marketing manager is I need to do something to address our retention rate. I need to create more loyal customers. I need to give customers more reason to come back. Okay, so this has been a primer then on customer relationship management and how CRM is kind of thought about as a customer orientation or customer-centric process. It's data-driven for the most part. We use data to incorporate into our planning process, and then as we are executing our planning process in marketing, we are recollecting data in order for our process to improve. It's relationship based, so we're focused on touch points and being able to create a long-lasting relationship with customers that builds satisfaction and loyalty. And one of the key metrics that we use in this process is to measure customer lifetime value, CLV. So that will be an important aspect of what we do moving forward. Okay.